Gather round, sheep. A brand new BHHcast episode is starting now.
Ring the dinner bell. Come over, sheep. This is going to be a good one.
Jamie Bendel, Jamie Hernan, Adam.
Hey, 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 hey.
It's weird when you do it. It's weird when you do it.
I tried to make it weird.
No,
I wanted it as weird
you
as
over
possible.
and you did it. You did it.
I wanted
you did a
you
good
to feel
job.
uncomfortable.
Honestly, you've done everything you can since the first podcast.
I want you to hate the sound of your name because you just heard it said that way.
Well, okay. Well, good job. Winning. You just did it. Congratulations.
You know, I do love you, though.
No, I love you too, man. And I know we've said that oftentimes on this podcast, you're a little bit of the whipping boy, and I start to feel bad about that. And Jamie talked to me about it and said I need to take it. The other Jamie talked to me about it and said I need to take it easy on you today.
Well, I talked to you about that also, but you ignored me. But
I was like, oh, Jesus, whiny bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I speaking of I love you,
yeah,
I've decided that I think there are, those telemarketer calls are great opportunities to just throw in a random I love you, or even if you're calling customer service or something, and you're like, hey, I'm trying to get can I get a cut on my cable bill? It's gotten expensive. They take $20 off. Okay, great. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. I love you. Click.
Just to put it out there, just to
put it
make the
out
world
there.
a little bit better.
Just so the person is like, what did he say?
I think that's great. I think you're putting out some love in the world.
All right, so have you ever been partially engaged in a conversation with somebody and kind of zoned out who you're talking to and did actually end the conversation by saying to a person who clearly you should not be saying I love you too?
Oh, I've been there.
I love you too?
Right. Yeah, that is a bad day because you're just like, love you.
Your Honor.
You're just like, holy good.
Right?
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
I also be engaged.
I also think, and tell me with you and your wives, do you do this where like, I love you has somehow replaced goodbye, right? Like when you're ending a call, you say, love you, right? Or when you're walking out the door, it's like, love you. And it almost like, I feel like, one, I like the idea that the last thing I'm going to say to my wife, if something were to ever happen, is I love you. But I really feel like it's diminished the I love you. Because like Lisa will say, love you. And that means like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. That's the impression I get when it comes on the phone.
You're saying that I love you now gets followed by separation.
Yeah, it's usually what we say just before we separate. And sometimes Lisa and I like to play a little game where if there are other people around us as we're being separated, for instance, like if an elevator door is closing or if she's pulling out of the parking lot and there's neighbors walking by, we always try and work in I want to see other people. As she's leaving.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got you. Yeah. Oh, I wonder what that was about. Yeah. I wonder what those guys were saying.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, I'll be back in a little bit. I don't want to see other people.
If you walked in front of a crowded elevator as the doors are closing and you just said, I love you, don't know anybody in the elevator.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that's your I love you putting it out there. What do you think about the I love you at the end of conversations?
So I think if it is cheapened by frequency of use,
I concur,
and minimizing in the situation, then for it to have significance as the final thing you said, it can't be both.
Right. So then I think the thing I'm trying to save by saying I love you each time we separate or each time we end a conversation is kind of diminished because it's been used as kind of a catch-all. It's like it's a goodbye.
Right.
Yeah. Love you. Okay. Love you. Okay. Love you.
That's what oh my God.
Use your words. Come on.
That is with your spouse.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. But if it's the telemarketer or the customer service person.
Oh, I get it. You want to put the I love yous out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's probably, it probably makes their day.
Yeah. But even and especially if you had a kind of a nasty call and you just end it with, I will never use this company again. You will never hear from me again. I love you.
Yeah, I feel like that would feel like they would take that as an insult at that point. I don't know if it feels good to them.
Or if you're at the coffee shop and they hand you your coffee or your latte or whatever, and you just say, all right, thanks, I love you.
I think that's great. I think you're just putting it out there. I don't think that's awkward. I think that's just a beautiful thing. But I do think that
I think you would never do it in person. I think if you said, okay, let's have a contest and said tomorrow in person, say I love you to as many people as you could.
If you told me it was a contest, I might do it.
Sometimes we go out to bars after we do the podcast. What I'm suggesting is that tonight when we go to the bar, anybody who waits on us or who, gets an I love you.
I'm in.
See, I think it's challenging because I think that you're dealing, and I'm saying this
I'm challenging you.
Right, but what I'm getting at is I think it's very hard. So if you're on the phone and you get to the end of the customer service call and you're like, would you care to fill out a 5-minute survey, right? Or a 5-question survey at the end? And you'd be like, yeah.
I gotta say it real creepy though. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Like, no, I love you. Like, right? I love you.
But now it's the woman who just, slid your Bud Light across the counter and you're like,
love you.
Love you.
Now, my limit would be if saying it would make them uncomfortable. Like, it would be, if me saying it makes them feel bad, then I don't want to say it.
Right. But you won't know that until you say it.
That's interesting because as Jamie and I say it, as JB and I say it, it doesn't feel creepy at all. But when you say it, you're right. It does come off creepy. It comes off really, really uncomfortable.
I do like the idea of the survey though, where you do the survey and then it's like, do you have any other comments? And you're like, I just want to say that I love Alicia B, customer service number 61554.
I love Alicia B. Anyhow, we got a great guest today.
I think it's, so supposedly.
Oh, okay.
To close the thing, I actually saw this week a story that was talking about how men generally should say "I love you" more to other people in their lives. That women are much more likely to tell their friends that they love them and that they mean it, and that guys generally don't.
I feel like I say "I love you" too much to the people in my life.
Yeah,
and it may be.
I don't think you ever said that to me. I think you actually did earlier in the episode. Never mind. Go ahead.
Oh no, that was just playing on the thing that you were saying. I've never said it to you. Let's just be real clear. Bendel, you get that a lot from me. We've said I love you a lot.
In a way that has stopped feeling awkward.
Yeah, it doesn't feel awkward at all anymore.
I mean, initially it felt like it was kind of soon.
And you don't need to say you love me, Hernan, at all, because it's creepy. It's creepy. Love you.
Can you hear my tears?
They are dripping onto the microphone.
All right.
Yeah, your tears are dripping.
So anyhow, you know who I love? I love our next guest.
Guest is great. I'm very excited about it. We talk. I think I have a good feeling.
Yeah.
About how this is going to go.
I mean, he kind of does it all. He's a comedian. He writes. He's. I love his style of comedy. Actually, that we'll talk a little bit about, but it'll be interesting.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
Okay.
Say I may feel it, but I probably won't express it. To just say I love you, man.
Okay.
Right.
Maybe we don't say it, but how about you feel it, and let's see if you can project it during our discussion.
I think I can do that.
Okay. So stick around, sheep. We're going to see if Jamie can project his love to this next person without saying it, showing it.
Right.
Or as my wife says, show through your actions, not the words.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you think that you're what your love language is actions or words?
Ooh, I don't know enough about love languages.
I think it's like acts of service.
Gifts.
Yeah. Like there's something that you respond to.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
No?
I don't know. I mean, I just don't know enough about it. Sorry.
I don't.
You can just
clearly
give me gifts,
I don't.
Adam. You don't have to say I love you. You can just shower me with gifts.
He went out of state and bought you a pie. What else does he have to say?
We did. I went to another state to buy a
he
pie.
bought
That's
you,
what I call actions.
Right?
Yeah.
That was love.
Yeah, he didn't.
And I didn't say it. But I show it.
I mean, how much more does he have to put it out there?
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like a goodbye pie. It was
just
like I'm going to see you again pie. Yeah.
It was pie.
It has been a while since I've had a pie.
Oh, that apple pie is so good, though.
That's good. We should rush up.
Honestly,
rush back.
If you find yourselves at the Cashier's Farmers Market,
get yourself an apple pie.
Get yourself an apple pie, because that stuff is good.
If we can get them to sponsor our show, we will know we've made it.
Roadside pie.
Could you imagine? And they just pay us in pies?
Just one pie. We'll
just pay us in pies.
One pie.
Pies on the roadside.
Yeah. Actually, we've probably done more advertising for them than any of our other sponsors.
Roadside
Anyhow, great guest. We're going to have a great show. It's exciting. Jamie's going to project love. Bendel's going to project love. Other Jamie will not, because it's creepy.
I love you, sheep.
Stick around.
We'll be back.
Take.
Hey, Adam.
Jamie. So what? I'm having the greatest day in the world. Go ahead. Tell me about what do you want to tell me about?
We've got a new sponsor. Everybody is talking about
how much better can my day get?
Yeah, look, everybody is talking about trying to watch their weight and control their diet. And
yes.
Our sponsor has decided enough of that.
F it.
Our sponsor is f***it.com.
Yeah, and they just so tell me about it. What do they do?
Well, they will send you a box full of carbs.
Yep, cookies, sugars.
No. It's just the raw carbs.
Oh, raw carbs and raw sugar.
It's raw sugar, raw carbs.
Nice.
Okay.
No, but it's timely. I mean, because right now we're sitting at the end of February. We're almost to March. Basically, I'm sick and tired of whatever I tried to do at the beginning of the year, trying to lose weight. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, and to get ready for next year when you're going to want to lose weight again, you need to stuff yourself with those carbs and that sugar.
Yep.
So when you get around to your resolutions next year,
what would I do in January if I didn't have weight?
What better way to lose more weight than to gain that weight now?
Yep.
So you've got a larger amount of weight that you can lose and be successful.
And it'll be so easy. So this is how you lose weight in February of next year because you'll be huge.
Right. Next year, it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be easy street.
That is why they only have short-term subscriptions.
These guys, they got it made. So you probably pick them up in March and you drop them in October?
No, you drop them in December right before you go into do your resolutions, and then they give you 2 or 3 months off, and then you're right back into it.
That's great because honestly, I was a little worried that Thanksgiving and Christmas didn't get me heavy enough this year.
Oh, no. You want to be working on that all year.
All year long.
And they're just going to, every month, you're going to get a box in the mail, and it's going to remind you, oh, yeah, I have not been
So I got to go to f***it.com.
Exactly.
Honestly, that is not a good website to go to, Sheep. Sheep, do not go to that website.
Not a real product.
No, and do not go to that website.
Probably a real website.
We were totally kidding.
Yeah, not associated with
the more we think about it, it's definitely not carbs and sugar.
Might be carbs.
Yeah. Sheep, you don't buy none of that because you look beautiful. And anywhere you are, you don't worry about your weight. You just keep on rocking. Bye.
All right, welcome back. This is the BHHcast. Jamie Vendel, Jamie Hernan, Adam Hig. And we are joined now by our comic guest for this episode. I'm very excited about it. Good friend of mine, known him a long time, is able to do things on stage that I can't. And that's not just be funny.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I wanted to give a good example of a self-deprecation because sometimes we have issues with lacking
sensitivity.
Awareness around deprecation.
Self-deprecation, right. Good job.
I feel like we had an episode where you guys were trashing me, and then I thought it was done. But no, I'm glad to hear that that's just going to carry over.
Boy, I thought we had an episode where you were oversensitive and just sat there like a little baby.
Oh, yeah. Well, perspective.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go.
I live in self-deprecation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that good comedians do.
Right.
Not afraid to self-deprecate.
So you gotta self-deprecate.
And I say that good comedians, also including you in this case.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah,
sure. I thought I would.
Yeah.
I would.
All right, so we are joined by Mr. J. Chris Newberg. Welcome to the podcast, my friend.
So happy to be here. This has been on my calendar for 45, 46 minutes.
Whoa, Jay!
Amazing!
Look at us!
Amazing.
Thank you for making the time.
All right, so where are you passing the pandemic these days?
Mostly, for the most part, in my apartment in Los Angeles. But tomorrow, I'm venturing back on the road for the first time since I was at your club.
Okay.
I'm going to Utah, but then I'll be back here in LA. Quarantining or whatever. It's so weird here. It's the opposite of Atlanta.
You going to Salt Lake?
I'm going to Ogden, actually.
Okay.
Adam grew up in
Salt
Utah.
Lake. Yeah.
Oh, fun. It's so beautiful. The last time I was there, I had so much fun talking to the people from the town about the stories and the legends of all the tunnels underneath the city.
Right. Yeah.
It was really cool.
And the stuff in the caves and the vaults up in the mountains.
You talking about Salt Lake City?
Yeah. So and there's also in the Mormons originally were really big ancestry people. Like before Ancestry.com, they were like the genealogical center of the universe, and they have these caves,
which I always found a bit sketchy.
Yeah, that they have these caves. Well, we can talk about why they do it, but they had these caves up in the mountains that allow them to keep all these records. And so they have a lot of the Mormon records as well as the genealogical records in these deep, deep mountain caves. It's kind of like, you saw War Games where they had that big vault in the mountain?
Where
that's,
they kept
that's
the
basically what we have for the Mormon paperwork as well.
And Adam really loves people from Utah. If he meets someone from Utah, he gives them +2 right from the start.
Yep, Mormons practice baptism of the dead, and so they will, after people die, they baptize you Mormon, so that you can find your way to their version of heaven. And so that's one of the reasons they were into genealogical, so that they could go through and make sure they got everybody.
Okay, so is that a true story?
Totally true story. Yeah, it is totally true story. And Mormon listeners to our show will know that they do a baptism of the dead.
Is there a material that you can line your casket with that makes you baptism proof?
That thwarts?
No, everybody's going to be Mormon.
Garlic? Is there?
Nope, you're all Mormon at the end.
I think it's highly presumptuous to come along after somebody's no longer there and be like, "We claim you."
A lot of religions get a little presumptuous, but yeah, you're right. I think it is.
I've never heard of post-death presumption of faith.
It would be nice if we could do that, though, to grow our listenership. If we could just basically,
you are a listener of the podcast. Yeah,
I think that'd be like you'd probably want to just make them follow you after they stop listening.
That's right.
They're like, wait, did I follow the podcast? I don't remember following them.
Yes. But anyhow, it's an interesting thing they do. Yeah,
can we claim the dead as listeners?
By the way, if you should get to my favorite burger place.
So hold on a second.
Yeah.
Because I just had like a very dark thought that on all of those like legacy obituary sites,
yes,
you can leave a comment.
Yes.
And go in and comment and be like, I was so sorry to hear that one of our listeners died and loved.
That's the new promotion vehicle.
He loved listening to our podcast.
And he said that the last thing he just wanted his family and friends to spend more time listening to his beloved podcast.
I felt like obligated to come and just let him know how much we're going to miss him from our listener family.
That's but right. We do have an opening. If anybody's, we've got an opening for a listener.
That's right. Anyhow.
We'll just go to the bullpen of the dead.
Yeah, enjoy your trip to Utah. It'll be great.
Thank you.
I actually recently watched a funeral on Instagram.
Were you invited
on Instagram?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so they streamed it.
So they streamed
it. Oh, okay,
yeah, they streamed it.
He's a funeral influencer.
I was so disappointed because I wrote a joke today that I thought was word funny, but it's absolutely 100% been done. It's so funny, but it's like when I die, I want my funeral in the afternoon because I'm not a morning person. But that's not going to play on stage. It's not, I don't think. But
I think that works.
I love the morning.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I love the morning joke. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Does that work? Okay.
Yeah, it works. Yeah. I think it does work. Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, I'll shout out baptism of the dead.
Baptism of the dead. You Mormons are up to it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's okay if a comedian tells a joke about death and it dies.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Still got it, baby. Still got it. All right, so you'd write material for other comics, right?
Not so much other comics as it used to be other comics, but now I'll still get a call last minute from a comic for a punch-up or whatever, but most of it's just TV hosting game show stuff. I just finished the run of The Chase on ABC, and I did all the writing for the Chasers.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, everything they said that was slightly funny, it was me whispering to them.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a great gig. I mean, it was a fun gig. I think we just got picked up for season 2. But, yeah.
I thought that Ken Jennings was a little funnier than he probably normally is on that show.
No, you'd be surprised. He's hilarious.
Oh, that's funny.
I mean, he's got really great timing, and he just says the most strange shit. He's obviously really smart, and but yeah, he hit every single joke perfectly that I told him.
So, do you find it's hard? Like, how much of a process is it for you to try to get somebody else's voice?
It's I think it's math because you just have to kind of count. I always that's the benefit I think music gave me because it's like I count joke. I pick up on joke rhythm as music. So I get someone's timing after about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then I just kind of beat it out that way. And by beat it out, not like beats, but like 1, 2, 3, 1,
Right.
2. So, and it's weird because most comics they mostly have 4/4 time, and you'll have other people who have different highlights. Like, okay, for example, like I'm just using like a Wendy Liebman, who I am a huge fan of. She has the weirdest fucking timing ever, but it's perfect. It's like, it's such a strange timing.
Right.
And I don't even know, because it's all tag based. It's all reverse tags.
Do you, and I've never asked Wendy the question, but now that you brought it up, I wonder if her audience at some point, like they know the music, right? They get the melody of her joke. And does that make it harder for her to still pull off the reverse, knowing that there's a reverse coming?
I mean, maybe, but also at the same time, I think that's the difference. As long as it's first to them, I mean, they're not going to have to deal with like, oh, I'm bored of her, she's doing the exact same. It's like, it's different from music to the extent that, like, you know how when you go to a concert and it's like basically any band, they're going to start off with a upbeat number in a specific key, and they're going to play maybe another one, and then they're going to slow it down, and maybe a mid-tempo, and it's all over. It's just like a comedy set as far as jokes. You know what you're going to do. So her rhythm is, I don't think her audience tires of it because she rotates. She's like a knuckleball pitcher. If a knuckleball pitcher were joke, and so it's just weird, but it's great. So a long answer is, I don't think so.
I think that's amazingly interesting, the idea of joke cadence, and that, and I wonder. I've never thought of it that way at all, and so I think that's really interesting that you bring it up. But do you think that audiences miss it if it doesn't hit at the right point? So, for instance, if the joke doesn't come in the cadence as it's expected, is it missed?
Sometimes. I mean, you can't really plan for it, but the stuff that you end up looking at to write for them is polished, and it's on TV, and it's not going to steer off into some other thing. So then you just give them the line and have them like wing it from there.
Well, I think that's amazing.
I think it's the hardest part of becoming a comedian is understanding what your joke rhythm is. And I think so I think that sometimes what people struggle with is they're trying to write
jokes,
music out of a range that they can actually sing, to continue the music analogy.
But you can't force that, right? That has to be kind of your natural rhythm.
Which everybody has, right? So everybody has a way that they are effective getting humor out of other people, right? So the object is, I want to make this other person laugh. How do I do that? And
well, you know who's super impressive because he had to do it twice was Drew Lynch,
right?
Because he was a comic before. Wasn't he? He was a comic before he got hit in the head with a softball and got that stutter.
Yep.
Oh.
So he had to relearn how to tell jokes, timing his stutter, and I don't know how he does it. It's so good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Now, you said that most comics are in like a 4/4 time.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because usually set up, punch, set up, punch.
That's interesting. And so I wonder if that's, you said, comics trying to find their rhythm. Like, is it safer to be in a 4/4 and it's a little bit more adventurous to be outside of that? Or, I mean, it's interesting.
Well, a lot of it's pacing, right? So there are people who are good, like street joke tellers, which I feel like I really struggle with.
What's a street joke teller as opposed to a...
Chris, you got an example?
I have my favorite street joke, which is, everyone's heard it. Grasshopper walks into a bar, bartender's like, hey, I got a drink named after you. A drink named Steve? So it's like, that's a joke.
Right. Okay. That's like a street joke.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can also, so like the majority, what I've tried to do is, I'm a joke writer. Like that's I fucking love jokes. I think it's the best thing in the world. I know there are people who are funny, who don't tell jokes, who tell stories funny, and who tell them in a funny way. I love jokes. So my problem to get to an evolving situation is I had to learn how to put stories and things around that because I didn't want to be Shecky Green. I didn't want to be like, ba-bum. It's like, that goes back to your question, Jamie. I think the audience does tire of the exact same thing, dun, 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 dun. If that's what you do. That's why I think when you know what you're doing, you mix it up.
It's hard to have a flow or segue from just joke.
I think so. I mean,
it's very hard.
It's like that's like if you're doing a 45-minute set and you're doing one-liners, you're probably going to tell like 160 jokes at least.
Right.
I think actually this is I had never. I mean, as someone who is sitting on the outskirts of comedy like I am, I've never thought of that. And it's amazing to me.
Like
I mean,
rural.
Yeah, this is an eye-opening moment for me. I mean, it's just that really makes a lot of sense, and it really it's an interesting thing that I hadn't factored in that's happening. It's so obvious in music, and it seems less obvious. But now that you've mentioned it, I'll never not see it.
Stop. He's not going to take you to Utah.
Easy. I'm not asking for a date. I'm just saying. Yeah, but no, it's great. And so when you're writing for shows and you're kind of getting that cadence for the character, is it different based on the tone of the show?
Yeah. Well, okay. So the Chase was kind of a cool situation to be in because they'd never been on a major network. They were in the UK. They were in Australia. Now they've come to ABC. And so it's their first opportunity to kind of like establish themselves. So when we were sitting around in the writer's room, we were like, okay, there's Brad, James, and Ken. Ken is the most famous. He's the quickest witted. Brad is, I think, the most money winning. And James is a crazy gambler, like Rain Man guy. So you had to figure out, those are three definitely different people. So I had to write three totally different ways. And a lot of it was experimenting and a lot of it was failing because it's like certain people can be charming when they're mean and certain people come off immediately like, fuck you forever. And Ken can tell a mean joke. Ken can say something mean. And it's funny because he, A, looks like the Keebler elf.
Right.
B, has a voice that's not at all intimidating. And C, he's 5'4". You know what I mean? It's
right.
Like he's a tiny dude. I don't know if he's 5'4", but he's not tall. And then you have Brad, who's this tall, GQ, handsome fella, 6 foot plus, and he comes out in his little bow tie. And then you have James, who kind of comes out and looks like he's had Botox on his face since birth, makes no facial expression, and just destroys with monotone, straight up one-liners. And the reason of that is cheating. It's like, that's exactly my rhythm.
Interesting.
So I didn't have to work too hard on his. But the funniest thing I've ever seen that didn't make air, obviously, was the first time I wrote for Brad, and I gave him a joke, and I was like, it's up to you, dude. I said, I think it's going to come across mean, but it's your choice. He's like, I'll do it. I'm like, okay. So he gets out there, and it's his first contestant. It's this heavy-set guy, and he's really sweating, and he's set, and his backstory is that he's so good at trivia. In his wallet, he's got tons and tons of free drink cards from bars for winning trivia. So much so that he has to use a rubber band. And I just gave him some joke, and I don't remember because it was months ago, but it was something along the lines of, well, you're not going to have a condom in there. And it just, it shut down because the executive producer was like, no, absolutely. Like I just listening to this in my inner ear, he goes, cutting, no. And I had to go in the booth, and he's like, you got to be nice.
That's like, pretty funny.
That's funny.
It's not like you're going to have a condom in there.
All right. So speaking of cards, we ask our guests, what is your calling card?
What is my calling card? What do you mean by that?
What is your thing? What do you do? Well, no, not what do you do. Like, what's your thing? What do you think is your calling card?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like Flash's calling card was speed.
Okay.
Right? What's your calling card?
It wasn't superhero?
Adam's calling card is trying to become best friends with the guests.
James' calling card.
The question. Could you allow the guest to actually answer? Are you on a tape delay of what's going on your side of the table? He's in the middle process of answering the question.
Please, go ahead.
I would say patience.
Okay.
We need some of that
answer. Excellent answer. All right. So our second question that we ask of our guests is, you're familiar with the concept of a meat in three restaurant?
Meat in three?
Meat in three.
Are you, just because of the Bluetooth, I apologize, are you saying meat as in the food, meat as in greeting someone, or meat as in the
meat.
person?
It's like a cafeteria, diner style, where you get a choice of a meat as your entree and then 3 side dishes.
Oh, what do I think about that?
No. Are you familiar with them? And I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So the analogy of this question is, in your life, what is the meat? What is the thing around which everything else is organized?
Oh, solid question. You're going to punch me in the dick. I don't know. I just have to think. I think that it's probably my ability to think and pretend like I'm having trouble finding a way to answer the question when I'm just pacing and stalling so I can think of something cool.
That's his
meat. I don't know. I don't really get stressed. I think calm. The meat for me is just being organic. How's that?
Okay.
I don't know. It's a great question that I don't think there's a correct answer for.
No. That's why we ask it. We're just curious how people conceive of the way in which they organize their life. So now the second part of that is, what is your 3? What are the 3 attributes that you would like people to most closely associate with you?
I would like them to continue to. I think that I would like it to eventually, at some point, people know my name, so that it's not just the dude with the guitar. But I do enjoy music, so I would say music is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The ability to make people laugh is pretty cool, and the ability to eat by making people laugh is cool.
All right, I can identify with that. I get
yeah,
that.
Absolutely.
I'm a middle-aged white dude. If you ask me the question, you can ask me the same question at any different decade of my life, 20 or 30, and I'll tell you, or 40. I wouldn't tell you. I would be completely different.
Right.
Sure.
It should be.
Yeah, I think it should be.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we do a little bit of a rapid fire round. We ask questions that have been pulled from a store purchased icebreaker deeper talk kit.
I feel like these come from like an executive retreat type kit. It's like
could be.
meet your meet your colleague.
And because it's lightning round, they are deep questions to which we want not shallow but short responses, top of mind. You, as the guest, have the choice. Would you prefer to go clockwise or counterclockwise around the table?
What did the last person choose?
Clockwise.
I will go counterclockwise.
All right.
Well done.
We're going to start with the other Jamie, and we will go counterclockwise.
Technically, clockwise is me.
Yeah, I'm counterclockwise.
It's okay to include Adam. He can go first.
No, again, yeah. We did clockwise last time. It goes Jamie. Jamie got to go first. Now it's my turn.
That was a different episode.
But
if we start every time and start with Jamie as 12 o'clock, we can either then come around to me and then to you.
I thought you were
I like
12
this.
o'clock.
So we're always starting. Oh, I did also think he was 12 o'clock.
Okay.
I feel more like 6 o'clock.
Honestly, you look like 6 o'clock.
I feel like 11 o'clock. But
okay, hit it.
All right. Is violence ever acceptable?
In video games.
Good.
What have you learned about life from loss or death?
Loss or death? Take advantage of the opportunity to say what you want to say while the person is there.
What have you done from a place of insecurity that has long-lasting effects? Sheesh.
Anything that I've ever done that's viral.
Oh, well done.
What are the daily rituals? Oh, go ahead.
No. I remembered it was rapid fire. Go on.
What are the daily rituals you swear by and think everyone else should explore too?
Bathe, fish oil, and long walks to write stuff.
Good call.
What do you think society owes its citizens?
Oh, man. Am I a senator from Texas?
Good answer.
All right, next.
What controversial opinions do you enjoy sharing with others?
Many, but I need to hear theirs first.
Okay.
All right, that's it. Those are our 3. That's our 2-round rapid fire.
It was really good.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
it really was.
Can I just say, in the future, just please, if you guys ever do an episode on April 1st, can you please say, all right, rapid fire, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, because you guys, I was dying I thought that the whole rapid fire bit was you guys arguing about clockwise and counterclockwise. And if you guys just did that, if you just did that to the end of the show and they were like, all right, well, thanks to our guest.
We have discussed that there's going to be that moment where the guest tells us that's all the time they have.
Yeah, right. Like, we're done here.
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm no longer a part of the show.
Yeah, I'm done.
I do like how he corrected me, though, because I said, no, you go ahead. And he said, it's rapid fire, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. No, Jamie.
follow-up. There is
rapid
no
fire. I write for shows, Joe.
All right. So the other thing that we talk about when we have the opportunity to talk to a comedian is the concept of a broken bit. And so I believe that every comedian has a joke concept that they believe in, but for whatever reason can't get it to work.
Oh man, I have to look at my joke sheet real quick. My most recent one, because I have columns when I'm on stage, because all of my notes are like trigger words and just like one-worded words. So I have like jokes that are finished, jokes that are in the process, jokes suck, but you're gonna try anyway. And it's an old joke, and it's one of those things that I feel horrible every time I tell it.
Ooh.
But it is so and it's such a horrible joke, but it's accidentally a really smart joke. But it's so inappropriate. The broken bit is because what are you gonna do with it? You can't do it on TV. The joke is if you yell rape, no one comes. I disagree. So it's just. And it's like so inappropriate, and it's like because it's about me, the creepiness of me, not the situation.
Yeah, that's a zinger, though.
But I think it's broken.
Oh, it's broken.
It's great though.
So the best part. So what I love about seeing comedians that that you have a relationship with, and I think every comedian has been there, particularly like in your local comedy scene, is when you know the guy on stage has totally bailed on their set and they've started working just to the back of the room.
I love that.
Right? And they're doing all of those kinds of jokes.
Interesting.
Where you're like, you know what? I'm out with this audience, but I'm gonna work to my friends in the back.
Yeah.
Right? And you know it's like that comic's pull the shoot switching into a totally different set.
Yeah. I love that as well.
So
I love that as well. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so these guys, from the standpoint of when you do your, give them an example of how you give the audience a little bit of choice in what your set looks like.
Oh, okay. I do this bet called Clean, Smart, Dirty, and I give people, Clean, Smart, Dirty, Clean, Smart, Dirty, Controversial, Inappropriate, or Jokes I Wrote Today. And I have jokes in all of those categories, and I just let people think that they're in control. And I'm just like, okay, give me a category, any category, and whatever they say. I'm kind of like 10 deep.
All right, so
and that's what I do.
So do an example of that here. Let Adam and Jamie both choose like they're in the audience.
Okay, Adam, Clean, Smart, Dirty, Controversial, Inappropriate, Jokes I Wrote Today.
Inappropriate.
Oh, man. 9/11, horrible tragedy, terrible tragedy. And never in a million years ever tried to make light of 9/11. But I was thinking to myself, like right around the time that it happened, you think the people who worked in the advertising department for the store 7-Eleven were like, that was
Very good. That's hilarious.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Jamie.
What are my choices again?
Clean, Smart, Dirty, Controversial, Inappropriate, Jokes I Wrote Today.
Smart.
How smart? Like you're not going to get it? Or like smart, like, wow, that's funny.
Just smart enough so that I get it. Adam maybe is like questioning it.
Okay.
So
And it was controversial?
No, smart.
Oh, smart. Disco, a fantastic style of dance or an exit command from a scorned lover with a lisp.
just go.
You'd be amazed how many people do not get that joke.
Well, I got it. So eat shit, Jamie.
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
All right, so what questions do you have for us?
How long have you been doing a podcast?
We have been doing a podcast for a little over a year. But much like the drummer in Spinal Tap, we lost a fourth and kind of took a little bit of a break with the pandemic.
We had a Yoko situation.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they might be listening to the podcast. We're not going to go too far into it, but there was a Yoko situation.
Jamie and I tried to send an email to Adam. We actually accidentally sent it to the other guy. It was too late. He was gone.
So we've been at it for a while. Kind of, it's a little bit of a. How do you think podcasting has changed the way comedians approach content creation?
It varies. I think this is like what you're going to have is you're going to like. I'm not a huge fan. I think he's very successful, and he's arguably the most successful comedian podcaster at the moment. I don't listen, but he's smart, and it's Rogan, and you have a Rogan person comes in. I remember, and I respect the fuck out of Rogan so much, although he's more friendly as in hi, but I'm guaranteed he doesn't know who the hell I am. And he's been doing it for like 7 years, 8 years. He would like run around Sunset Strip from like Laugh Factory to Comedy Store to Improv, and he would have this team follow me, and everyone was like, what the hell are you doing? And he was so ahead of the curve, and then he jumped on pod, and he killed it, and now everyone's like, oh, I'm going to do a podcast, and I'm going to be Joe Rogan, and I'm going to move to Texas, and he's going to have a whole community of comics there, and whatever. So I think it's just another carrot that's dangled in front of comedians in a business that way too many comedians will never get carrots.
Right.
So I think it's hope. I mean, but it's like, it's also depressing. It's like, it's hard for a regular comic who appreciates immediate response to be like, I've got this great idea for a joke. It's a great story. Can't wait for someone to like it on iTunes in 2 months.
Right.
So I think it gives you an opportunity to stretch, but it also, like, let's say you were hurt and you couldn't practice with the team and you had to shoot. You were like, I'm working out. I'm doing great. I'm shooting the ball. I'm working. But it's totally different once you walk on stage. It's a totally different thing.
Yeah. It's been fascinating to me to watch people come back to being on stage after this COVID break.
Oh, it's hard.
And everybody kind of getting their sea legs again. And
is there rust?
There's definitely rust. There's rust, and there's a desire to be doing new material, right? So whatever anybody's writing process is, so there has been a trend and an emphasis on creation of new over arguably creation of good, that it's quantity, not quality.
We talked about cadence earlier, but have you found, are there certain comics that you've seen that their style has completely changed just by being alone for a year? They've just completely modified how they approach being on stage?
I wouldn't say that it's gone that far. I don't know. Have you seen anything like that?
I don't. It's hard for me to say because everything's closed here. I haven't really, like, we do in LA, everything's like speakeasy comedy shows. I'm doing a show tomorrow that I don't even know where it is because the police will shut it down. So I haven't really seen a lot of comics. In the comics, like, Ross or Burr, those guys are doing super private shows and getting paid to do local 10-minute spots.
Right.
I haven't seen them, but I think that I had a really good answer. I think that one thing you'll notice, and this isn't trying to be a bit, although I think it was a bit before this, like the last time I did a show, is the pandemic has robbed you of segues. There's no such thing as a segue in comedy, like while we're closed. And you can be like, oh, it's telling this girl at the gym. Fuck you, you liar. Right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's just, you have to, like, you're starting again kind of from scratch because you're playing in front of an audience who hasn't audience in a year either.
Right.
Oh, everybody's out of practice.
Yeah.
But do you think it's an opportunity for new comics to come in and sort of seize the sort of a, it's an open sort of clean slate. So you may have some people just appear or seem to appear out of nowhere.
It might be actually harder for the new comic right now because you don't have the audience kind of being prepped to be an audience.
And everyone thinks it's like you with your phone or your computer and all these different apps. It's like you have an opportunity to just go like it's so misleading. It's like, let's say you have a funny 10-second bit of someone punching you in the nuts with a t-shirt cannon or whatever, and then all of a sudden it goes viral. and you have like 19, 20 million people, and like you do a couple more videos and you have all these followers and all these fans, and you've got about 7 minutes of material, there are still rooms that will book you and pay you good money because you're going to fill those rooms. It may not, maybe not twice, maybe no one comes back, but it's like, that's just how it always is going to be.
Right. It is frustrating that we would be far more successful with this podcast or in the entertainment industry if we would just videotape each other shooting ourselves in the crotch with t-shirt cannons.
I think I've got a
I
cannon.
actually had a concept for a show where I would tell the smartest jokes I could figure out how to write. And the only thing that I would be showing on the screen behind me is guys taking it in the nuts.
So
would the show be called You're Crazy ellipsis Your question mark?
Highbrow,
Right.
lowbrow.
Yeah.
Highbrow,
just put the two
lowbrow.
things right next to each other.
I love it.
And the problem
Highbrow.
is that I it was harder coming up with the smart jokes than finding videos of people taking it in the nuts.
Right. America's yeah.
I'm envisioning you like dressed up, Masterpiece Theater
Standing
style.
out there.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You'd go full professorial approach to standing on stage with just guys getting crushed in the nuts.
It's basically America's greatest videos in the back of you. People continually get nuts crushed.
That would be great to do that live on stage, where instead of videos, there's just two guys behind you that are just doing
Wailing
that,
on each other's nuts.
No one's acknowledging. You're not acknowledging them. They're just back there.
They're just bam.
That would be pretty great. And it would be very successful.
Yeah, it would be hugely successful. And the best part about it is I could probably make those two guys that just got whaled in the nuts at the end of the show sell the merch.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. The fans would want to talk to them.
Yeah.
How do you do it? that thing with the... Yeah.
You would never have the same, and you could always swap out the guys. I mean, the nut guys are replaceable.
Oh, yeah. As soon as they give you a little attitude, you're off the tour, Joe. Aloha means goodbye. Nut guys are a dime a dozen.
I can get.
Yeah.
That's
the
the
talent's
title.
up front, Joe.
That's the title of this episode.
Yeah.
Nut guys are a dime a dozen.
Nut guys up front.
You could actually, that would, now that I'm sort of thinking this through,
Yeah.
it would be really, it would be funny if you would agree at any event just to show up. Right, and you want to make a pitch to an important customer? I got two guys that'll stand behind you and just get crushed in the nuts for your entire promo. All right, so let people know now that the world has come back to place, where would you like them to find you?
I'm on social media at Beth Chris Army, pretty much everywhere, and my podcast is called Heroin Has a Great Publicist, and I enjoy doing that as well.
Hey, I do have a question that actually I want to ask you about your Instagram.
Yes, sir.
So you hashtag the models, all the models, yoga models, whatever. Yeah. Okay. How did that get started?
I think I was probably, whenever Instagram started, I just started looking. It was based on the frustration of being a 40-something white male comic who was just like killing himself to try to write jokes and getting 31 likes. And then someone just is like, this is me near a car. And it's like 2 million hits. And it's like, model. I'm like, oh my God, that's so funny. So I just cut and paste.
It's hilarious. I mean, I love it because I think it's awesome.
Right.
But I was like, I wanted to know what the origin of it was, because it's so many different versions of models. Right?
Yeah, it's just kind of making fun of it. It's just making fun of the whole thing, and it's just, I don't know. I don't think I'll ever change it.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's hilarious. So I noticed it, and I appreciate the humor implicit in it, explicit and implicit. So
my pleasure. That's a good question. And yeah, you can find me at the Punchline next time Jamie calls me.
Nice.
Yeah, hopefully
and you're going to be in
soon.
Ogden at some point.
Yeah, if you need two nut guys, just give us a call.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can be there for
well,
you.
it sounds like I got access to 3 nut guys.
Could.
I'm out as a nut guy.
You're a front man.
Yeah, Jamie may be hosting, so
I'm not
front man.
Yeah.
I'm thinking autographed cups after the show, some merch, $25 a pop.
Oh, I don't think we do cups.
Oh my God! But actually, you sell nut ointment, and it's called Nut Repair. And you tell people the reason I was doing the show. It's for comedy, but it's like, to be honest with you, it's all about the natural element and the healing power
of nut repair.
Of nut repair. And then you guys would be like, yeah, we didn't even hurt. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nut repair.
Totally good.
Yeah.
And we don't need anything.
And
nut
when the
repair
person
does
says,
it all.
I don't even need that. You just kick them in the nuts.
UFC would buy it by the crate.
Be like, now you do.
All right. I appreciate you joining us here, sir.
Enjoy your trip to Ogden. Don't forget to stop at Hires Hamburgers or the Pie Pizzeria.
And apparently, don't die in Utah because they're coming for your eternal soul.
I'm telling you, they're coming for all of us.
I am as outraged about learning that as I am about anything else.
Really? Okay.
It's so presumptuous.
But from their point of view, they're
and
helping you out.
also ineffective. Like, the soul has escaped.
From their point of view, they're helping you out.
But they're not helping you out. Like, it's a total
you
misunderstanding.
You don't get to the celestial kingdom, as they call it in the LDS, without it. So they want everybody to get in. So they're just helping you out.
I would love to have been at the elder meeting when that whole concept was pitched. We need to grow this faith.
I'm sure that would have been fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's old school,
there's no ideas or bad ideas. It'd be like, how about we just grab them after they're dead?
What do you think about marrying lots of wives?
And grab them after they're
We
dead.
got to shit can that because the feds are coming after us.
All right.
Before we go, I just want to say hashtag models, hashtag all the models, hashtag more models, hashtag thirsty, hashtag someone should get more models, hashtag yoga model.
Hashtag models.
Hashtag somebody should get more models.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
All right, that was J. Chris Newberg. Very successful on America's Got Talent.
Yeah,
Hilariously funny in person. You should really go see him if he's in your town because he works at a very fast pace. He has a great show. We didn't even talk about the fact that he writes legit music around some of his bits. So
I love how he does that multiple choice. You know, it's kind of like Choose Your Own Adventure comedy club, comedy act. I love it.
And when you go see the show, so it's not like it's the same set.
Right.
So, you know, some people would use it as a gimmick, basically, to do kind of the same material.
Right.
He doesn't.
No,
So,
it's a new joke. No matter smart joke on night one is a different joke on night two.
I'm wondering if at the 8 o'clock show more people say clean and smart, and at the 10:30 show, if more people say inappropriate,
dirty, controversial.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or you could kickstart the 8 o'clock show with a little controversial from the start. Do you think the ones that jokes he wrote that day, do you think that they're actually jokes he wrote that day?
I mean, he's not going to lie about it.
No, I'm not calling him a liar.
That day.
Hashtag models, hashtag all the models,
Sounded-
hashtag someone needs a new model.
Okay, well, he said I wrote it today. He's giving out a new joke
today.
and I think that's why it's a high risk joke.
And I would say this: I have not heard repeats
of the joke he wrote
between
today.
visits. Right, so he'll, if he's there in January and he's back in July, jokes I wrote today isn't the same joke.
No, I loved his act. I love the Choose Your Own. I thought the stuff about cadence was incredible. Like, that is an eye-opening thing for the non-comedian. It's I will never not see that going forward.
Another great podcast on the books. Jimmy, Adam.
Hot one, hot two. Hey!